Hi there viewers, I'm the Extraordinary Tourist, and in this video I want to explore the idea of whether you can learn to skateboard on a cheap department store style skateboard. What I have here is a Mambo skateboard which cost me around about $20 from Big Dog, and what I intend to do is sort of go through Braille Skateboarding's Skateboarding Made Simple Volume 1, which has all the basic tricks that these boards should be able to handle, and by the time you've got sort of your abilities sorted out and you can do that first volume, if you've got that far, you should be well into deciding that skateboarding's for you and you might want to invest in something a little bit better quality than these. So. And just to comment on that, I've been skating since, as I said, I was 18. I'm going to be 48 this year in a couple of months. And surprisingly enough, I haven't even sort of mastered Volume 1 of Braille Skateboarding. And in fact, some of the tricks in there I never mastered, even when I was sort of skating every day back through the 90s. Things like pop shove-its and kick flips and heel flips, I never actually learnt those. I spent a lot more time sort of skating mini ramps and curbs and doing other tricks that weren't quite as hard as those. And yeah, I just never really was into learning them as much as perhaps some people are. So that's what we're going to do. You're going to see me try and learn some of those tricks and see if we can get through them all without breaking or snapping these skateboards, and generally demonstrating for you that they're okay as your very first skateboard. So let's get on with that. Do some adjustments to these trucks. Way too loose. Actually, it's quite surprising, these wheels actually seem to roll quite well just sort of rolling around here, but they feel very soft and very rubbery. The bushings are like really soft as well. Even though I'm tightening them up quite a lot, they still feel like they're very loose. behind making this video is that I watch a lot of YouTube videos where I've seen pro skaters buy these cheap skateboard decks and then proceed to skate them with really advanced tricks that these decks were probably never designed to withstand, and then they'll conclude their videos with the concept or the idea that you shouldn't buy these decks because they're low quality and they're no good, and you just really shouldn't learn to skate on them. But I sort of beg to differ on that point. I think these department store boards definitely serve a purpose for beginner skaters. They're perfectly adequate for anyone who's never actually stepped on a skateboard before and are just sort of putting their foot into the water, so to speak, and to see whether skateboarding is actually for them. And also I feel a lot of parents sort of tend to buy these boards for their kids who are sort of wanting to skateboard or wanting a skateboard, but the parents don't want to go out and spend a lot of money on a pro quality deck if skateboarding isn't going to be the thing for their kid. It's just the new fad for this week. So they'll often start with these kinds of decks, and I know that me personally, I started out not with this sort of deck, but I started skating way back in 1988, so this shape of popsicle deck wasn't around. I actually had a more fishtail deck, but it was a cheap department store deck, and I know it served me well right up until I decided skateboarding was definitely something I was going to do, and I splashed out and bought my first pro skateboard. This is an 8-inch wide deck, and it's a 31-inch long. It's your standard popsicle shape, and just running through the specs, it's a 9-ply high impact wooden deck, so it's not a Canadian maple deck. It's got aluminium trucks, as you can see here, metal trucks. If you are ever buying one of these cheap boards as your first board, always go for one that has metal trucks. If you buy one that's got the plastic trucks, then you are definitely buying a toy, and those things will not withstand even the most basic of tricks for very long. And especially if you're buying one of these as a full-grown adult, which I did. I started skating when I was 18. Just your general weight on a plastic truck board is not going to be good for that board, so always look for the metal trucks. The wheels, what have we got? Standard department store PU wheels. And the bearings this one has is ABEC 5 precision bearings, which is, it is a low quality bearings, but they're perfectly serviceable. Usually on a professional board they tend to go with ABEC 9 bearings rather than 5 as a starting point, and that's what I skate in my regular skateboard that I normally ride. So we've got that. As I said, it's a Mambo board. Mambo used to be a fairly respected company for selling skateboards, but in recent times this is pretty much the only kind of Mambo skateboard I've seen, and it's definitely marketed as a beginner toy sort of board. It's not intended as a professional skateboard. One thing I wanted to say about cheap boards and why I think they are okay, and why I think it's okay to buy these for your kids or buy them for yourself if it's your first skateboard and you're just trying to decide if skating's for you, is that for a long time it was very hard to buy a even semi-decent skateboard in a department store. there just didn't seem to be the demand for them, and those skateboards that were there were like these Mambo ones, or even before these started coming out. World Industries had some really shocking skateboards in the department stores that were so bad that the edges weren't even rounded, they were just flat, and they were definitely toy boards. And even between that and the Mambo boards, skateboards in department stores virtually disappeared here in Australia in favour of like a whole wall of scooters and those kinds of other roller sports, not rather than skateboards. And I think, as I've already said, a lot of us started out on these cheap boards. A lot of us get our first skateboards when parents buy their skateboard for their kid, and they don't really want to outlay too much money on it in case it's just sort of the new thing for the week. And if these boards aren't available in the stores, then there's a lot of kids potentially missing out on even trying skateboards and probably even going for scooters instead. So that's why I wanted to support the idea that these cheap boards are good for learning on, and that's what I'm sort of planning to show in this video. Right, I just want to put it on record that those frontside top shovets that you saw me land are probably are in fact the first that I've ever landed on concrete on any skateboard. I'd never learnt those way back in the day, and my previous session to this I was getting pretty close to them, so those are my first time landing there. And so far, still haven't broken the board. I need to tighten these trucks a bit more again, because now that the board's warmed up, it's getting very squashy, and I'm sort of still having issues with a bit of wheel bite here and there, but otherwise it's holding up. And you can see so far it's perfectly possible to learn skate tricks and sort of get yourself started in skateboarding with what is essentially a $20 skateboard deck, and I haven't actually done any mods to it at all as yet. And also bearing in mind, max weight on this is 50 kilograms and my weight is 65 kilograms, so it's holding up pretty well.